This is my fear with the Carolina Panthers, is that they're going to see all these wonderful traits, physical traits from Anthony Richardson, the size, the speed, the arm strength, all this blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, sexy. I want it.
I'm not worried about that.
Oh, I am.
The reason why,
I am.
It's a new group. I'm
sorry, Tepper's still the owner, right?
You have Tepper, that's the owner.
Okay, sorry. I'm afraid he's going to go Jerry Jones.
But you have all of this experience. I think we talked about this last week. You went out and you got one of the more NFL experienced groups that's out there right now. Between Frank Reich, your head coach, you have Jim Caldwell, who's a special assistant. You have Thomas Brown. You have Ejiro Evero. You have Josh McCown.
Yeah.
There's so many guys that's there that, just you have so much experience. I think that they already made their choice, and it's not Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
Like, yes, he looks good. I mean, listen, I'm just saying this strictly as somebody who's just into women. Okay. But if I had a body, I want my body to look like Anthony Richardson's or somebody like Brian Burns. They just have perfect bodies, man.
Oh, yeah.
They look great. They're athletic. I mean, they everything is proportional. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, I don't think they're going to fall in love with that.
Okay.
I think they've seen enough between Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, and that's one of the two choices. You don't move up to number one for Anthony Richardson.
No, you don't. But again, they're like, oh, hey, look who's sexy over here.
I mean, you might go out to the club one night, see somebody who looks good, and you might want to spend a little extra time with them, but you know that, you're not going to call them back.
Okay.
It happens.
Does it?
It happens.
But I don't know. Here's the thing. In the NFL, it's like it ends up being that 4-year thing.
I mean, that's if you continue. But right now, they just took him out to eat. They went to go watch him work out. Visit him at work.
Okay,
that's all they did with him. They're gonna keep in contact. They're gonna fly him out. To Charlotte. Spend a nice weekend. He's gonna get flued out. You're gonna meet some people around. You're gonna meet the homeboys.
Okay.
The homeboys gonna talk to you too, and then we're gonna fly you back to Gainesville. That's all that's happening. He's not gonna get chosen at the Players Ball, otherwise known as the NFL Draft. That's not happening.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying, but
I know you're afraid.
I am. Like, don't go a decision based solely off looks. Find the looks and the personality, and that everything fits for you.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you do find that. It really is.
It is.
It's awesome.
And they know that they have that in either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
Do they?
They do know that.
Okay, well, I hope they know. I hope they don't, again.
You heard Josh McCown. We're going to play when you live in Charlotte.
Yeah.
We'll get it together. He said that.
He said that.
Okay.
He did say that. Well, here's Todd McShay, ESPN draft guru. His biggest takeaway from Richardson's pro day.
He's just different. Having seen the other three quarterbacks throw, and they all, were different levels of great in their own pro days. But when you watch Anthony, he's 6'4". He's 244 pounds. He runs a 4.43. Yet he has the upper body flexibility. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, but those guys, unlike Will Levis, who's really muscular and a weight room warrior and all those things, the tightness he has in his upper body. What really stood out to me is just how flexible he is with his upper body.
Don't fall in love with that flexibility, Chris. Don't fall in love with it. All those physical traits and that flexibility, don't fall in love with it.
It's easy to fall in love with flexibility.
It really is.
It really is.
Don't fall in love with it.
Graham, I hope you're writing down notes. You're a youngin'. You're writing down notes. We're giving you the game right now.
Mm-hmm. It's all has to match together, the whole package. I just don't see it, Richardson. Don't fall in love with just all these measurable traits. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, okay, what are we evaluating on? Their actual performance, their knowledge, what they can do on the field in terms of what they've proven and what they're capable of doing based off what we already know, or we just fall in love with the physical traits. I get it. You can take this big lump of clay and you can mold it and shape it into whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And it doesn't mean you can actually get it to where you want it to be.
And the timeline is different, right? Like some people, for instance, like when you're falling in love, you want to have a quick commitment. There's some people who just want to just take it slow. And I think right now
I'm in it for the long term.
I think Seattle just wants to take it slow. They want to hang out for a little bit. Like, hey, let's get to know each other. He'd be perfect in Seattle. The Panthers are looking for something serious now.
Well, yeah, serious now, but they still want to grow.
For the long term.
But they still want to grow.
But they're looking for something serious right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why that you have somebody like a Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, probably C.J. Stroud, if it were me picking. But I'm not the one picking.
Oh, I'm 100% on the I've stated this, 100% on the C.J. Stroud bandwagon.
Yeah.
Plus, all the coaching staff that you mentioned a little bit ago, how they've assembled this team as well with free agency and everything, they're looking for a guy that they could plug in day one.
Yeah.
Week 1, number 1 pick, starting.
And we mentioned all those people. We forgot to mention Andy Dalton. Like, that's going to be the guy helping you out as your backup.
Yeah, he's the back. Here's the thing.
Crazy.
Andy Dalton doesn't need any attention.
Yeah.
Because you want 100% of all your first-team reps and focus from your coaching staff to go into that number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Dalton doesn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around the league for, 13 years now, whatever it is.
Something like that.
Something along those dozen years. He's 35 years old. He knows his role.
Yeah.
He gets it. Now, if whomever you bring in isn't really maybe ready for week 1 or get it, but it's fine. That guy can learn under Andy Dalton. It's okay. I 100% agree with you on that regard. So, yeah, they're building this team to be the number 1 guy. I just don't – I look at Richardson, everyone, again, falls in love with the physical traits. But I sit in there and look and I go, okay, let's actually look at his season. And I see multiple. I'm talking was it 5-6 games this season where he threw for less than 100 yards?
Okay.
I'm sorry, less than 200 yards.
Florida also didn't have the best weapons. And there were a lot of drops. Like, Florida was very high on drops.
Okay,
and
but is
also,
that really going to improve from 53.8%?
But also,
Come on now.
Dan Orlovsky made this a point, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but he said, 53.8, whatever his throwing percentage was. He was like, if you take away a lot of those drops, it was like 50-something drops from his receivers. Okay. If you take away a few of those, can't remember the numbers he had, plus you take away the throwaways, because a lot of his incompletions are throwaways of him we're going to stay alive. We're going to live to see another day. Because if he actually had like a really good offense to throw it to, he's a 65% thrower. He's like, a lot of that is just because of how bad. Now, again, Orlovsky had the exact numbers. I didn't write down the numbers, but he did the math on this, and a lot of it was Florida. I mean, we didn't see him with a really good offense. We didn't see him for very long because he wasn't a starter for very long. I think he really is a good quarterback. But, again, what you said, I think you got to go for the sure thing.
Yeah.
You want to be with this person, but the other person is going to be that trophy wife. You know that in 5-10 years, they're going to be that person where it's like, okay, that's going to be the envy of the neighborhood. You know that for sure. And that's what you have in Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
You don't know with Anthony Richardson.
You don't. You just don't. I want that stability.
But, boy, he has a good-looking body.
Don't fall in love with just the body.
Don't fall in love with the body, though.
Don't fall in love with just the body. Just giving y'all fair warning out there.
Like, Megan Thee Stallion looks amazing, but she could be a horrible person.
Very well could be.
And, boy, she looked great throwing out that first pitch.
Did she?
You didn't watch?
I didn't see it.
And then the catcher, gives a little sneak touch to her butt when he hugged her afterwards?
Of course. Of course. Because why not?
He did.